Hello, here we are with a hands-on with the Sony Xperia M. Now, first things first, I do need to mention that this is a pre-production model as demonstrated by this sticker right here. So whilst this is nigh on identical to what the final version will be, there might be some small differences. We probably won't be able to tell what those differences are, but it's just a caveat if we notice some slowdown and things on this device that we're actually testing. So this is the Xperia M in white. It's going to be available in black as well, and we expect it to be available for around about £200 inclusive of VAT within the UK. So that's around about £165 without VAT. So let's take a look around the device. So as you'll notice, we've got the Sony branding up the top here. We've got the loudspeaker. We've got a couple of sensors, and then we've got the front-facing camera, which is actually a VGA camera. We've then got the touchscreen on the front here, which of course is the main way in which we interact with the actual device. And that's a 4-inch display, and that has a resolution of 854 by 480 pixels. So, and it's scratch resistant there as well, so you can throw it in and out of your bag or in your pocket, and hopefully the device will live up to your expectations and resist scratching. It's not saying it's going to stop all scratches, but it's scratch resistant. We've got a microphone down here at the bottom. If we then look at the bottom of the device, we've got what is supposed to be a little lanyard attachment. We'll come to that in a moment when we take the back cover off. We've got this sort of silver effect banding around the bottom as well. Along the side, we continue with this silver banding. It's got quite a nice clean look. It's slightly recessed there from the white framing. And then we've got the micro USB port here for charging and connectivity to a computer. It supports USB on the go. It doesn't support MHL out, so that's connection to an HD display. It does not have that, but you've got USB on the go. Coming around to the top, we've got this same design ethos, but we've got the 3.5mm headphone jack on the sort of top center section here. Then as we come round to the other side, we've got a few more buttons and control, but we're continuing this same design. We've got the power button just here, and if you've noticed or looked at any other Sony Xperia devices, this is sort of their omni-balance design. It's a design pattern that's going across all of their devices at the moment. So you've got the power button there with the volume up and down keys, and we've then got a dedicated camera button down here for taking your pictures, which is a nice addition. Coming over to the back of the device, we've got a smooth touch back cover, which is removable. We've got a raised Sony logo here. We've got an NFC logo just here as well, if you can see that there. And that's where the NFC chip is, so that is built in on board. We've got the Xperia branding, which is etched into the case. It's actually smooth to the touch. It's not raised like the Sony logo. And then we've got a speaker grill down here. Up the top, we've then got the 5 megapixel rear facing camera that has autofocus and LED flash. Now we can remove the back cover. There's no sort of recess or anything to pull it off. You just sort of have to clip your nails in at the top there and pull it back. And there we have the insides of the device, which reveals a micro SIM card slot and a micro SD card slot as well. We then have a removable battery, so the Sony BA900, and that has a 1750 milliamp hour capacity. And then we've got the NFC functionality sort of built in here. You can see there it is, and that's where you touch your phone, and this all links back up to here on the pins for actually transferring that data. Then we mentioned the Lanyard connection. You got the little hole here, and it's supposed to feed through this little hole here. We can't actually see how it works. We haven't managed to get it working properly. I'm not sure if this is just because it's the pre-production unit, but the manual suggests that it will have that. So looking at it from a sort of profile side of it, it has got a little bit of a bulge just at the bottom of the device here. It's only minuscule, but I don't know if you can just pick that up there on the camera. It just raises ever so slightly there, and actually works quite well for gripping the device and balance. So let's switch the device on here. Now we've run through the setup on here. Now we're not going to go through everything because it's an Android device and many of you will have seen that. We don't need to show you how to browse the web, etc., but we give you a quick idea of what you get. So you've got your normal home screens here that you can customize with pinch and zoom. You can add widgets, apps, wallpapers and themes. You get a variety of pre-installed applications, many of which come direct from Google. So we've got Google Chrome, we've got full Play Store access. We've then got the likes of YouTube. You'll also notice some of the Sony apps on board here. So we've got Sony Album and Walkman services, as well as movies and Sony Select. You've got maps, you've got Sony's Music and Video Unlimited. You've got an FM radio. This device is PlayStation certified, so you can be playing the games on here. You've got Sony's Smart Connect and Xperia Link technology, Google+, Gmail, you name it, it's all on here. You've got a file commander and you've got an Office suite pre-installed on there as well for you. And of course you can add your own apps from the Play Store. You can customize how they appear here, so your own order, alphabetical, most used. It's entirely up to you. In terms of software buttons, we've got the same familiar keys, back, home and running applications button that we can hold here. And then we've got these mini apps as well that load here. So we've got a recorder. So if you press and hold on the running apps button, you've got these options here, as well as actually installing more from the Play Store. So those are nice little sort of added on apps if you want to sort of record your voice here, so we can start actually recording, and they can be moved around screen and they can sort of run whilst you might be doing something else, and we can close those down if we wish. Like so, you can search for your apps. We go back to the home screen here. Now this is a 4-inch touchscreen display, but you do lose some of the real estate through the software buttons here. It's a little bit of a shame. There's a lot of white plastic here and at the top that maybe some capacitive buttons could have been put in place. So we've got your sort of standard messaging here, you know, add your contact, write your message. You've got portrait and landscape orientation on this device. You've got your phone dialer, which is fairly straightforward. It has been customized by Sony to give it that Sony look and feel. Of course, we can then go into the settings, and we've got a variety of shortcuts at the top here, including silent, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, data connection, but we can go into the full settings. Any notifications will actually appear here. Now, if we scroll right down to about the phone, so you can see that this is also known as the C1905, and it's running Android version 4.1.2. We are sure that Sony will be releasing updates for this device over time, but currently this unit we're handling is 4.1.2. We come out of this, and then if we go into the memory on the device to show you that, because that's always an important issue for a lot of people. So in terms of internal storage, it has 4 gig available, and then you have the OS and the apps installed, but by the time that's all installed and done, you've got somewhere in the region of 1 gig to 1.5 gigs. We've actually got some bits already installed on here, so that might be affecting this, but as a guide you've got just over 1 to 1.5 gig to actually play with. There is 1 gig of RAM in here, and of course you've got the micro SD card slot, which will support cards up to 32 gigabytes in capacity. You've also got a 1 gigahertz dual core processor, so you should find that performance is generally very snappy, and out of the times we've been testing it, we haven't really noticed any lag or let up. You've got here within the settings Xperia menu, where you've got PlayStation certification, you've got screen mirroring with selected Sony televisions, and you've got the USB connectivity options here. As I say, you haven't actually got MHL out via the micro USB port, which is a bit of a disappointment. You've got power management, so one of the standout features of Sony devices of late is their stamina mode, and you've got that on here where you can switch it on, and it basically enhances the way that apps and content is managed on your device to optimize the battery life. So if we switch that on, we will notice improvements in our battery performance. So at the moment we've got 2 days and 3 hours of usage, but that would change based on your personal usage. So you've got all your sort of normal sound and display options. You've got X Loud, which enhances the sound of the actual speaker, and we've been quite impressed with the actual volume of the speaker on the back here. And the nice thing is, because of the actual size of it, you can't accidentally put your finger over it and block out all the sound. You might block out a bit, but it's definitely quite loud, but having this helps and also clarifies the actual quality of the audio. So just give you a little idea, if we play the ringtone. So that's actually quite loud. It's not the loudest we've heard, but it's by no means bad, and the audio quality is actually pretty good. You've then got on the display your ability to control the brightness. You've got your font size, your different themes and light effects. Just down here you get a little LED notification light, sort of looks a bit like a sunrise almost when it's connecting for charging that highlights. And just to show you on the brightness, you have also got a light sensor, so you can actually adapt it. You don't have to manually control it. It's up to you in terms of what you've got. Of course, you've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all built in to this device for your connectivity options, and that helps with the likes of Google Chrome, etc. If we go into the album and just take a look at some of the pictures that we've been taken on this device, just as an idea of some sort of testing shots to see how they actually come out. Now, of course, they always appear better on the computer screen rather than this smaller display here, but they haven't been too bad. Here's one of a sort of rusting light. The quality it's picking up on this 5 megapixel camera is actually pretty good. Let's just go and have a look at a couple of other images. So we can see here, taking the picture of a Mini Cooper. You can see it's really picking up the reflection. I mean, this was taken on a bright sunny day, but I've been quite impressed with this overall. And you can just see here now the light here for the notifications showing up because we're going through the images. The zoom on this, it does have digital zoom. It's not fantastic, if I'm honest with you. I try to avoid that if you can. You can use that in both video and still shooting modes by using this zoom control up here. But so far so good on the camera. Let's just show you a few of the settings in the camera to give you an idea of what you've got, because Sony have got a pretty good setup here. So you can actually record footage or take stills at the same time from this screen here. You can flick between the front and rear facing camera. So here's the front facing camera. And then of course you've got a whole variety of settings that you control. Up here at the top we can get into different applications of the camera. So front video, front camera, we can select scenes to get the best settings preset for those different scenes. We've got picture effects, so to get different sort of styles if you want to be a bit more creative and have some fun with your photos. We've then got your video camera. So this records images at 5 megapixel, but then if we come into the video, it records in HD, 720p HD, but you do have other video quality options. The front facing video camera is only VGA quality, but that's enough for video calls. And you've got quite a lot of controls, including image stabilizer, the microphone, shutter sound, and of course you've got the dedicated camera button at the top here. So that's our quick hands-on with the Sony Xperia M. For more coverage, be sure to check out blog.clove.co.uk, as well as our YouTube channel, and of course you can get yourself one of these devices at clove.co.uk.